If only I could meet you right now, I would hold you tightly and whisper, I know how exhausted you must be. If only I could sit beside you in a quiet room so you wouldn't have to pretend to be strong anymore, so you could just breathe and let the tears finally fall. Because perhaps you have carried this pain for far too long. Maybe your childhood wasn't filled with gentle memories, but with days of comparison, of being overlooked, or of being loved only when you were good enough. And even now, though you've grown into an adult, you often find yourself asking, what's wrong with me? Why do I always feel so out of place in this world? I want you to know this. There is nothing wrong with you, and you were never truly alone. This video is a letter of 8 reminders, 8 things your heart needs to hear so you can finally understand that your wounds do not define your worth, and that you are worthy of love even in the moments when you haven't yet begun to heal.
Maybe someone once laughed at you for crying over a comment that seemed small to them. Maybe you felt ashamed because your hands shook at the sound of shouting, while others seemed unaffected. But your sensitivity has never been a flaw. It is the antenna your childhood forced you to raise in order to survive. You had to learn how to read the slightest shift in someone's eyes, to catch the tiniest change in their tone, just to know when it was safe and when danger was near. People may call that being too sensitive, but I call it proof that you survived a world that was anything but gentle. And now that very sensitivity has become a gift. It is the reason you can listen so deeply, the reason you can notice what others overlook, the reason your empathy runs deeper than most. What once protected you in fear is now the same thing that allows you to love more profoundly.
You may not recall the exact day it happened, but your body does. The quickened heartbeat when a door slams shut, the sudden wave of nausea when you're left alone in a crowd, the suffocating tightness in your chest when voices rise in an argument. This is not weakness. It is your body whispering, "We've been through this before." Trauma does not live only in memory. It lives in your skin, in your nervous system, in every involuntary shiver that rises without warning. So instead of hating these reactions, place your hand over your chest and remind yourself, I'm safe now. I am no longer that child I once was. These responses are not signs of brokenness, but echoes of survival. They are your body's way of telling the story your mind tried to bury. And with gentleness, you can teach your body that the danger has passed.
You may often scold yourself, why do I keep trying to please everyone? Or why am I always so terrified of being abandoned? But these are not bad traits. They were once the ways you kept yourself safe. A child who is only loved when they're obedient learns how to please. A child who is only valued when they excel learns how to keep running without rest. These patterns were once your armor, the shield that allowed you to survive in a world full of conditions and demands. But now, as you stand here as an adult, perhaps you no longer need to wear that heavy armor all the time. You have the right to loosen it, to set it down, and to finally breathe for the very first time as your true self. Maybe you've been told others have it worse than you and they're still fine. And so you stayed quiet, convincing yourself you had no right to hurt. But pain is not a competition. A single scratch can send a child's heart into panic. One moment of being left behind can plant the belief that they are unimportant. You don't have to wait until your suffering feels big enough to be acknowledged. Your pain is real, and you deserve to have it held, to have it healed, even if no one else can see it. Even if others dismiss it. The weight you carry matters, not because it's heavier than someone else's, but because it belongs to you. And your heart deserves gentleness, simply because it has been hurting. Do you ever wonder why certain moments trigger a storm inside you? A passing comment, a subtle look of disregard, and suddenly your chest tightens with fire you can't contain. Later, guilt creeps in, and you ask yourself, why did I overreact? What's wrong with me? But anger is not evidence that you are flawed. It is the voice of the child within, the one who once endured silence, injustice, and dismissal. Your anger is not your enemy. It is a messenger whispering, "Something here feels wrong. Please listen." When you learn to hold your anger gently, you begin to see its true form, an ally. It is the reminder that you are worthy of fairness. It is the strength that helps you set boundaries, to say with clarity, "This is not okay." When met with compassion, anger transforms, not into destruction, but into compass pointing you back to your dignity. There are nights when you curl up under the blanket, feeling as though the entire world has turned its back on you. You may believe that you are the only one who is broken, the only one who doesn't belong. But you are not alone. There are millions of others who have also cried quietly in the dark, who have also forced to smile in the middle of a crowd. We may never have met, but in our fragility, we can find each other. And when you dare to speak, when you share even a piece of your story, you will discover something profound. Out there are hearts beating in rhythm with your own. Out there are souls who understand, who carry wounds like yours, and who remind you that your existence is deeply, irrevocably connected to theirs. When someone says, "Just love yourself," has it ever hurt more than it helped? Because how can you know how to love yourself if your entire childhood never taught you how? So begin small. Write yourself a gentle note. Allow yourself to rest without needing to prove anything. Whisper to yourself, "Today I have tried enough." Self-love does not arrive in a single day. It is built step by step, in each quiet moment when you stop abandoning yourself. And then, one day, without even realizing it, you will look in the mirror and see you have become the very person you've been waiting for all your life. Perhaps you grew up believing you had to earn your worth by getting high grades, by being obedient, by constantly proving yourself. Every stern glance, every comparison etched into you the belief that your value lies in achievement. But my dear, you have always been enough, even when you did nothing at all. The child within you deserved love not for being perfect, but even while crying, trembling, or struggling. And the adult you are today is no different. You do not need to become someone else to be worthy of love. You do not need to earn your place in this world. Simply by existing, you are already enough. If I could hold your hand right now, I would whisper, "You have come such a long way, and I am truly proud of you." You may not see yourself as strong, but the very fact that you are still here, still breathing, still seeking healing, is proof that you are far more resilient than you realize. These 8 reminders are not a formula, nor a universal key. They are gentle notes to help you remember pain does not make you broken, and fear does not make you worthless. You have never been alone, and you are worthy of love, even if you have not yet learned to love yourself. If you can, give yourself a chance, one day, 1 hour, or even just one breath, to stop blaming yourself and begin treating yourself with tenderness. Because you are not only a survivor of the past, you are someone who deserves a future filled with light, and you do not need to wait for any condition to be met in order to be loved. For right now, in this very moment, you are already enough.